just leave it for the time being, Nellie.
Where's Rose, Hudson?
I gave her permission to go off early, my lady. She wanted to visit her aunt who lives some distance away.
I see. Well, she should really finish her duties before she goes off.
Yes, my lady. Rose has been rather upset recently, my lady.
Yes, Hudson. We all have. You were quite right to let her go. Coffee, James?
Well, thank you, I had it down.
All right, Hudson, thank you.
My lady.
Hudson?
Yes, my lady.
You don't think that Rose knows where Miss Elizabeth is?
Oh, no, my lady. If Rose knew such a thing, I'm sure she wouldn't keep it to herself.
Thank you, Hudson.
My lady.
Oh, she's not in a hotel and she's not with friends. Where can she be?
I imagine she's with her new friends.
New friends?
What do you mean, those socialists?
Well, they call themselves Fabians.
Oh, what's the difference?
As I see the matter, James, Fabians are better bred and less realistic. There's a little nest of them at Cambridge where they go on midnight picnics and patronize Keir Hardy.
Oh, surely Elizabeth will never be taken in by them.
It is awfully good of you, Henrietta, to take me in off the street. Just think what might have happened to me otherwise. One more unfortunate, weary of breath, rashly importunate, gone to her death.
Take her up tenderly, cherish her do. You might pawn her watch for a shilling or two.
I never thought of pawning my watch. What a good idea. Henrietta, would you like me to pawn my watch? Then I'll be able to pay you something.
You're earning your keep doing that. Which is more than I can say for Lawrence. He isn't even earning his keep.
Oh, what nonsense. Of course I am. Unlike William Morris, I believe in pure decoration. This is the brave new pattern of life, that women should work and men be just beautiful. The overpowering ugliness of this room would quite deafen your spirits if I were not here.
I do hope that popping these leaflets through letterboxes will convince people more than if we post them.
Most of them don't want to be convinced.
Oh, dear Henrietta, you're the only one with your feet on the ground. Whatever we do without you.
We should float up into the air like thistledown, higher and higher and higher, with our voices coming back like rather tinny skylarks, until at last we reach the sun, and then we all flared up in one glorious conflagration. It would almost be worth it.
Yes, but he wouldn't do the poor a scrap of good, and that's what we're here for.
Yes, of course we are.
Henrietta, as you're the practical one, do you think you could see if Mrs. March has forgotten about our tea?
As usual.
I have a yearning for hot buttered toast that's almost immoral.
I wish I were Henrietta. I'm so sure of everything.
Aren't you sure of everything?
I'm not sure of anything. At least I'm fairly sure of things, but never of people.
And I'm sure of people and never of things.
You didn't mean that. You only said it because it was a good answer.
You know, I sometimes think that I don't mean anything.
Come on.
Elizabeth, a visitor for you.
Rose! Come in. You know Mr. Lawrence Cabot. Lawrence, you remember my dear friend Rose, of
Hot
course.
foot from affluent Eton Place.
I'd have got here sooner, Miss Elizabeth.
But don't call me that. It sounds so ridiculous here.
What shall I call you then?
I don't know. Elizabeth, I suppose. Friends call each other by their names.
But I'm not your friend. I'm your parents' house parlour maid.
Yes, but not here.
Well, I'm not ashamed of it. That's what I do. I'm a house parlour maid.
Rose believes in the truth.
Eh?
You believe in the truth.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Rose, how ridiculous you are. As if it matters.
I'll take that
Now,
upstairs
what
and
have you
unpack
brought me
it for you.
Let me have a look. Oh. What's this? Present?
No, I had to stop and buy you airbrush on the way. Couldn't bring the one you left on the dressing table.
Rose is so clever. I'll take it up to my room and unpack it. I've got a bedroom in the attic, but it's just like yours.
I'll take it for you, Miss
No, I
Elizabeth.
can manage.
I'll
It's not
unpack
heavy.
it, lay all the things
Yes,
out. I'll press them
Rose,
out.
will you
Do it.
sit down?
May I take your hat and coat?
No, thank you.
Well, sit down anyway.
Thank you, sir.
Tea will be here directly.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
This place, is it a lodging?
Yes, it is. Miss Henrietta Winchmore, the young lady who let you in, lodges here, and Miss Elizabeth is sharing with her.
Oh.
And I am staying with friends in St. John's Wood. But when they get too dull to bear for another minute, then I come round here.
Oh, I see.
You're quite wrong, you know.
Wrong?
Yeah. Miss Elizabeth really does think of you as her friend.
Yes, I know.
Rose, I put my washing in the case. Could you get it done for me and bring it back next week?
No, I'd have to get it past Mr. Hudson. I'd never manage that.
Rose, you can manage anything. Oh, I'd do it myself. But I've got so much work to do.
What about my work?
Oh, but this is real work.
So is mine. Phil's real enough anyhow. And Mr. Hudson notices when I don't get it done, and so does her ladyship.
Well, it may be real work, but it's not for real people.
Miss Elizabeth, whatever do you mean by that?
My parents aren't real people.
Parents never are. They're all sorts of other things. They're stupid and innocent and inquisitive and frightfully faithful. But they're not real. You should never think of parents as real people. It only worries them and confuses them.
Exactly.
Well, I'll see what I can do. But it won't be easy. What you doing there, anyhow?
We're changing the world.
Oh, I'm not sure I want it changed.
Oh, yes, you do, Rose. Really, you do. You want to change the law which says being poor is a crime.
The most important thing to do will be to create a truly noble relationship between the people and the state, so that the people work devotedly and honourably for the state, and the state in turn loves and cares for the people, just as we love and care for each other.
Oh, hot buttered toast and dundee cake. Marvellous. Take off your hat, Liz, and sit down.
Well, I could fancy a cup of tea.
I don't understand how she can be so cruel. Not even to send a word or a message. Doesn't she know how we feel?
No, I don't think she does.
Nowadays, children seem to think their parents don't feel anything. You know, we should have been firmer with her.
Marjorie Elizabeth is over 21.
Oh, yes, if she wants to go away, frighten us all to death and cause so much unhappiness, she has a bloody right.
My dear. My dear.
It's my fault, you know. It must be my fault that she can treat us like this. It must be.
No, no.
I'd better go and change for dinner.
I'm off, Mother. Have you heard anything from...
No, James, we haven't heard anything.
Aren't you dining in the mess, James?
No, not tonight. I'm going to the music hall and having supper with a friend afterwards.
I hope you and your friend enjoy the show.
Who are you going to see?
That new sensation of the vaudeville, Sarah Denise.
Oh, what are we gonna do with Uncle Arthur? I think it's now, young. And then now, strolling in the park, watch your step. Girls, especially after down. In your skirts, a flirt for Uncle Arthur. He's over 80, but how he can run. Where there's a kiss, me dearie, say, and tickle you up the bum, the ache. Say it was just an harmless bit, a nice bruise on you where you sit. Let me go, Uncle, the kind of fun. What are we going to do with Uncle Arthur? As in doctored? Like a tomcat. You'd have thought by now we'd had his fill, but me aunt can't bloody well keep him still. Saturday night can find him at the boozer, having a quick one. Then off he will pop. Straighten his act and up the street, and into the roads in the street. Dirty old man who pound my daughter. And Arthur is not the sorter. But it's bloody well time for him to stop. Hold on to your lady, girls, he's behind you.
Came to ask you to have supper with me.
Have a round of applause, eh?
That always feels Saturday nights. Mind you, those that are out there and recite the Lord's Prayer in Dutch, they still yell their bloody legs off.
Of course they would. It's all they know, not the song. Do you mind if I shut out the noise of the bellowing proletariat?
Sick of slumming already, Mr. James?
James. I promised you the money for that fine.
Forget it. Thanks all the same, but it was only a week's salary from this place.
I insist. It was my fault for not being bright enough to see through that two-faced Swede and his right-fingered valet.
You had away with him. Rot him.
Damn nearly put you in Holloway.
Oh well, we live and learn. How's things in dear old Eaton Place? If your mother could see us together now, she'd drop dead.
I don't see why. Not a maid anymore. Not the toast of Camden Town.
I was a skivvy in your mother's house.
Was.
Shut your eyes, love. I'm going to strip.
Strip away, Sarah.
You peeked last time, remember? Up in Lady Marjorie's boudoir that night I got drunk and tried on the dress.
I'm a little older now, Sarah. And wiser. I'm a captain.
You were really wise. You wouldn't be taking me out to supper.
But I don't believe in wisdom.
Don't you?
Not when.
When what?
I'm standing there. With so little on underneath.
Nothing on underneath, Captain.
Who's it?
Mr. Hudson, I never thought you'd be. I thought you'd be.
I decided that I didn't want to waste the good fire.
No. Well, good night, then, Mr. Hudson.
Rose,
Yes, Mr. Hudson.
you're a wee thing late.
Yes, I am. I missed the last round back and I had to walk all the way home.
I see. Isn't that a valise you've got there?
Yes, yes it is.
It is Miss Elizabeth's, I think.
Yes, it is. I've got it mended.
Don't lie to me, girl. You know where she is. Come down here. In there. Oh, Rose. I would never have thought it of you. You know how upset her ladyship has been. I don't approve of gossip, but I can tell you I have found her ladyship in tears almost every day since Miss Elizabeth went away. And now you knew where she was and you kept it from her.
Well, they made Miss Elizabeth unhappy too.
That is no concern of yours.
It is my concern. She's my friend.
Your friend? If Miss Elizabeth has taught you to forget your place, then she is no friend of yours. Now, you will tell me where she is, my girl.
I won't.
Rose, you will do as I bid. Or tomorrow I'll tell the master and he'll soon get it out of you.
I won't tell him. Not if he tears me to pieces.
Sit down, Rose.
Oh,
Sit down. What is this house, Rose?
165 Eden Place.
And what part of the house are we sitting in?
Servants' hall?
That is right. The servants' hall. You and I, Rose, we are employed here. What the family does is their business. We're here to do our work and mind our business, not theirs.
Miss Elizabeth asked me to help her.
She shouldn't have done that. It wasn't fair to you.
Oh, I didn't mind.
Well, you should. Because it is your good name that you lose, and no one's got the right to ask that of you.
Don't see that.
Don't you? Well, I'll have to tell the master tomorrow that you have known all along where Miss Elizabeth is. And although you realize how upset her ladyship was, you didn't say a thing. And he will tell her ladyship. And then they will both know that after all these years you've been with them, they can't trust you. They'll be very sorry to know that, Rose. I know I am.
Oh, Mr. Hudson. What am I going to do? Oh, I'm exhausted. Why must every house have 3 steps up to its front door? Why can't people live in little sensible houses, just big enough for their needs? None of these great pillars and porticos.
Oh, I don't know. I'm rather fond of pillars and porticos. Through pillars and porticos, long may we roam. To you it's a palace. To me it's just home.
All right. But every palace must have at least 3 families living in it. If they could show the cooking and the cleaning, and then they could read poetry to each other all day long. Henriette will be back soon if she hasn't fallen off her bicycle again. You'll stay to supper, won't you?
Oh, no, I can't. I'm going to the opera.
Oh.
You shouldn't sit in the firelight.
Shouldn't I?
I don't know, there's something about a woman and firelight. Makes one think of one's childhood. Nanny and mother and all those familiar things. Makes one feel so safe, and really it's the most dangerous thing in the world. Oh, I must go. Here, look at that when I've gone.
What is it? It's your poem. In the Morning Post. Have you been carrying this around all day?
I'm sorry I sent it now.
But it's wonderful.
Did you really think so? The editor insisted on cutting a couple of verses. He said they were an attack on religion and marriage.
Were they?
Well, yes, of course. I just didn't think he was clever enough to realize it.
Lawrence, think I'm falling in love with you. Would that be a terrible mistake?
Terrible mistake for you. But wonderful for me.
Miss Elizabeth is actually sleeping there, is she? In them lodgings?
Well, yes, Mr. Pierce. At least she's staying there with Miss Winchell. That's her young woman friend. And
what?
And other people visit them.
At night time, eh?
It's one of them, Miss Elizabeth's gentleman friend. You mind your own business, Nellie. This is a private conversation between Mr. Pierce and myself. See, this Mr. Lawrence Curbridge, he's a poet.
He's a poet and he don't know it, eh? Here, I heard about poets.
He speaks beautifully, and he's one of the finest gentlemen I've ever met. And I'm sure Miss Lizzie couldn't do better. I'm sure she couldn't.
Then why don't she come home?
I must be free to live my own life. I can't be bound by rules and shibboleths I don't believe in.
And this freedom doesn't include freedom from money.
Oh, now that, if you'll forgive me, is exactly...
I'll forgive you anything, Elizabeth, except making your mother unhappy. I beg your pardon, I interrupted you.
Yes.
I don't want to quarrel, that's why I came away.
You've made your protest. I understand that. Now you can come home.
Look, it wouldn't work. I can't live the way you and Mother do, worrying about what you eat and what you wear and what you say. It would be like taking part in a perpetual charade. Well, charade's all right at Christmas when you all say and do things you don't mean anyway. If you like, I'll come home at Christmas and I'll play the charade beautifully for 3 or 4 days, a whole week. But don't ask me to spend my whole life playing a charade.
Is religion part of the charade?
Yes, it is. I think so, and so does Lawrence.
Lawrence?
Lawrence Curbridge the poet is another friend of mine.
Oh, yes, he's that rather precious young man who writes poems against religion and marriage.
He writes poems for a lot of things, too, but you wouldn't notice that. He writes about truth and beauty and about honesty and about being young and knowing that the world belongs to you.
Elizabeth, you won't always be young.
All the more reason not to betray youth while I have it.
Beastly bicycle. Look what it's done to my skirt. I shall have to give it to the cat meat man. Never mind, I got rid of them all.
Henrietta, my father.
How do you do, Mr. Bellamy?
Miss
Did you finish your deliveries? Why, you haven't done half of them.
Yes, we have. We've done thousands.
The trouble with you and Lawrence is that you talk too much instead of working.
No, we don't.
Well, I'd better go and get supper. Mrs. March is drunk.
Oh, not again.
Who is Mrs. Marsh?
My landlady. She does hit the bottle a bit. Never mind, I found some sausages in the meat safe. I think I'll cook them. Oh, are you staying for supper, Mr. Bellamy?
No, thank you. I have to get to the house. There's an important division tonight.
Oh, yes. You're a Tory, aren't you? What action are you going to take on that bill?
Which bill?
Winston Churchill's Labour Exchange Bill.
I'm not sure.
You're not? I thought you'd vote against it.
It's a good bill. I shall probably abstain.
And if there's a whip on?
But then I shall consult.
Oh, your leader, I suppose.
I was about to say my conscience.
Oh. Maybe you're not quite as bad as you seem.
Funny, I was thinking exactly the same thing about you.
I'm here.
You said you was on duty at the barracks.
I was, but I managed to get out of it to be with you, my love. I thought we'd done somewhere different tonight. I've heard of an awfully jolly little tavern down in Chiswick.
Where no one will recognise you as the son of Mr. Richard Pemberton Bellamy, MP.
Oh, that's not the point,
Oh, isn't it? All right, then let's go to the Ritz.
Huh?
You can take me to supper at the Ritz and show me off to all your mother and father's friends. Ooh, dear, dear. Isn't that Marjorie Bellamy's boy over there with his new lady friend? What's on the stage? Dear, dear, what a little trollop she looks, all them feathers and jewels. I do hear as how she was the under-house parlour.
Oh, shut up. Let's go on and on about that. I'll take you to the Ritz if that's where you want to go. I don't care what the parents say. I don't care what anybody says.
Well, I do. I care. Now, listen. I don't want you to take me to the Ritz or any other posh place. Not yet, anyway. Not till you're sure how you feel about me. I mean, we've got to give it time. We've only been together again a little while.
I love you, Sarah.
But I want you to promise me something.
Anything within reason. A necklace, man.
Oh, shut up. I don't want no expensive presents from you. All I want you to promise me is that you'll go easy on that stuff. I mean, you're a good-looking boy. Too many bottles of this and you're going to go all bloated and depraved. And I wouldn't want my brave captain to go all depraved. Now then, Captain, if you'll kindly undo me, I'll get changed, we'll whistle up a hansom and drive back to my place. For a cup of cocoa, eh?
And when you talk of tenderness, I tell you I have none to spare. I did not even know I loved you till I saw bluebells in your hair. I did not even know I loved you till I saw bluebells in your hair. But it doesn't scan, does it?
No, it doesn't.
It'd be better to say, I did not know I loved you till I saw bluebells in your hair.
Why say it at all? Doesn't make sense. If she's got blue hair, at least he gets them published. I suppose that's something.
He's making quite a name for himself.
A name?
Yes. A lot of people think he's very...
All right.
Yes, I'm all right.
You know, marriage is a declaration of faith in the future. I'm glad you named me.
So am I.
Oh, I beg your pardon, Miss Lucy.
Yes, Hudson?
Edward, Nellie, Pierce, upstairs to the front hall. Miss Elizabeth is leaving shortly. Come on, quickly now. The other wedding guests are assembling in the hall, miss.
Well, I'm assembling down here.
I think since you were invited as a guest, miss...
Oh, I was invited, all right. Down here, Jimmy.
Oh, what on earth are you doing down here?
We live in old memories.
You know very well you hated every minute of your time here.
I know. Poor old Hudson was a bit confused. I mean, I don't really belong anywhere, do I? Neither upstairs nor downstairs.
Nor in my lady's chamber. You belong to me.
Do I?
Elizabeth is about to go.
I wish we could go away.
Where to? Vienna?
I'd rather go to Paris.
All right. Let's go.
What now?
Why not?
What about the regiment?
What about the theatre?
To hell with the theatre.
To hell with the regiment.
Vive la République!
Come on, let's go and throw some confetti at my sister.
Here, watch, here, you rupture yourself.
Oh.